Rapids.
Stanford set with a new facility full of sand and rival Cau on the way. It's beach volleyball next on Pac-12 Network. What a gorgeous day in Northern California. A perfect day for some beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network. We're on the campus of Stanford University where the Cardinal is hosting their crosstown rival, the California Golden Bears. Taking a look at the poll, the top teams in the nation, some Pac-12 representation amongst them. Stanford and Cal working their way towards being represented amongst the best in the nation. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside three-time Olympian Holly McPeak. And Holly, the first ever televised match here. What a beautiful facility.
Boy, this is one of the best facilities in the country. Thank you to Mr. Arriaga for donating this to Stanford. But I'll tell you, both teams, this is a big match because they're both trying to establish themselves as solid beach volleyball programs with a nice reputation. So this is a good start for both teams.
Specifically, Holly, what kinds of things are we going to be looking for today?
Well, the acclimation or the change from indoor to the beach game. So the subtle things like defense, communication, shots, and covering the court, and then strategy. These are all things that you have to learn in order to play beach volleyball at a high level.
Two programs on the rise on a honey of a day in Northern California. How could it get any better? Join us. We're going to take you through the 4 and 5 pairs coming up next.
The team you trust.
Welcome back to Stanford Sand Volleyball Stadium. The Cal Golden Bears and Stanford Cardinal about to face off, and the band is all here. Beautiful day, first televised match at this venue, and we're going to start off, as we usually do, with the 4 and 5 pairs playing first. Court 1 has the 4 pairs of Neff and Eidhoven, and DeSanto and Bowen. And the Court 2, who will join in a little bit, will have Wilson and Regalia, Robinson and Alade. We're going to start our action on Court 1, serve by Jennifer DeSanto. Down the line shot to start things off, and that's Taya Neff.
Good side out for Taya Neff. She's got long arms. Her strength is at the net. She is the primary blocker for this Cal squad.
Neff and Eidhoven, a new pair. They've only been playing together for a little over a week. Block is big. Bowen shuts it down.
Stanford's got the advantage in terms of size at the net. That time Bowen is big. Gets the block on Eidhoven.
Bowen serve, hard to handle.
I like it. Courtney Bowen going aggressive. She needs to serve tough and run all the way up to the net to block. So you want to make sure you get the Cal team in trouble.
Bowen serving.
Let's go, Kate. Yeah, right here.
2-2, and Holly, you mentioned some of the finesse that we're going to be looking for. Taya Neff serving for Cal. They go for the littler player to begin.
Usually teams will go after the smaller player because they've got less offensive range. Stanford's setting each other off the net and able to put the ball away.
DeSanto at just 5'5". Goes at Neff. No block on the net for Neff.
Stanford pulls off the net and leaves free net play, and then Neff attacks the middle.
Taya Neff grew up in Marin County, California. Said she started playing with her toes in the sand her senior year of high school. And Neff telling us that she was just planning to attend Cal as a regular student, but her arrival kind of coincided with the beginning of beach volleyball. She told me, I'm a Megan product, talking about the head coach, Megan Schmidt.
Well, it's nice. She's a good athlete, and she is growing with the program. This is the right time to get in, especially if you weren't planning on playing college volleyball. To get in right when they're building the program is the right time.
Cau continues to go after DeSanto. Bowen at the net, takes line, blocks challenged, and solid.
Neff trying to beat Courtney Bowen at the net, but you're going to have to go around her, not over her. Not a lot of room to clear.
Bowen, a 6'4" player, also on the indoor roster, a walk-on from Brooklyn, New York. Neff realizes she's got to go high and ends up going long.
Well, there you see Neff trying to go high over the big block of Courtney Bowen, but I'd rather her get up and try and beat her in the angle, go around her.
Neff pops it up, no blocker on, does a little shot. Bowen connects.
And there, the big size advantage of Courtney Bowen. When she's at the net, no blocker in front of her. She knows how to hammer the ball. Good option play by Stanford.
Bowen also said she had no intention of playing college volleyball. Got spotted at a tournament. The coach put her in touch with John Dunning in the indoor program. He said, you can come try to walk on. She impressed them enough. She's on the roster, but getting in the top 10 or the top 5 pairs for Stanford Sand
Well,
Beach.
right now she's having a big impact at the net. Cal doesn't know what to do. They're trying to figure out a way to get the ball past her, and they're making hitting errors.
Service is deep, and Neff behind the service line, and you expect them to keep going to DeSanto, testing the littler of the players?
I do. Right now, Cal's on the better side with the wind in their face. They need to go aggressive. You can't serve DeSanto easy and then expect to dig the ball.
DeSanto gets that one up. Does it come outside of the antenna? It doesn't matter. It's outside the court when it lands.
The problem with going after one player is you don't want to serve them easy. You want to put some service pressure. This little tweak in the pass, Cal's able to get a block play at the net and win the rally.
And the option again there, as you know, with a 6'4" player, DeSanto clearly wants to set Bowen well.
Well, exactly. And if you serve DeSanto easy, Courtney Bowen is going to be involved in the play offensively. You do not want that.
Megan Schmidt, we've talked about, is the head coach of this team, and 2 Final Fours with the Bears indoor team, has taken over this sand program, growing it under the direction of the director of volleyball, Rich Feller.
That serve just missed, trying to go aggressive down the middle. I like the aggressive middle serve.
Especially against a pair like Eitoven and Neff, who haven't played a lot together. There's a seam there they're trying to break, it appears.
Well, there you see the option working very well for Stanford, and Courtney Bowen again with the kill, but it starts because Cal is serving the ball too easy.
Neff has Bowen in front of her. Gives plenty of room, and again, DeSanto has it down. She's just going to try to set Bowen every time she can on 2.
Now it's just an intimidation factor at the net. They finally got one over Courtney Bowen, but DeSanto was there to dig it. Cal digs in the transition, and they try and do a short shot around the block in the net. Another hitting error for Cal.
Ball is sent long, and an opportunity for Cal. It's rally scoring as usual, so within 2 off of some errors, but answered back with another error.
Lots of points being scored off missed serves. You want to score a real point, which means your team is serving the ball and you're actually playing defense to score the point.
Neff seeing the bulk of the serves. Bowen holding down the net.
Courtney Bowen dominating right now for Stanford at the net, but Cal is being too tentative. A little short shot around her is not going to work. You need to go up and be aggressive. I also think Neff's coming in too straight ahead on her approach and doesn't create any angles to beat the block.
Bowen's going to pawl off. Ball coming over Neff's head. DeSanto there. Both players up. Double hit, yeah.
It looked like she set herself and tried to attack it. Cal ball.
Well, we'll step away. Bowen and DeSanto up by 5 early in the first set.
Tuesday night bake.
Real sweet.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
It's the sweet one.
This Pac-12 beach volleyball rivalry matchup is brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. We're on the campus of Stanford University for the first ever televised match from their new beach volleyball facility, and action's underway. We have 2 courts of action going right now. The 4 pairs are on court 1. The 5 pairs are on court 2. Closely contested match on court 2. We'll check in with them later, but we're going to restart our action on court 1 with the 4 pairs. Bowen and DeSanto of Stanford with an edge in the first set, Holly, and a very clear plan.
Well, it's interesting. If DeSanto gets an easy serve, she's going to just option it so Courtney Bowen can use her 6'4" long body to put the ball away, and that's working. And then defensively, Courtney Bowen's presence alone at the net, scoring lots of points versus Cal so far.
Yeah, Bowen's been big on the block. Here she'll see a rare pass set hit opportunity. Goes little, and it lands on the line.
Good execution by Stanford so far. It's all about the execution. This is a free ball play. Stanford gets a nice easy attempt, and then Bowen with a roll shot down the line over the block.
Bowen, a 6'4" indoor player. Holly, what's the biggest transition for somebody going from indoor to outdoor, especially when they have that kind of length?
Well, ball control is the biggest challenge, but her physicality at the net really putting so much pressure on the opponents. You see Cal another hitting error. I believe that's 6 or 7 already in this first set.
And so how would you like to see Cal attack it when Bowen's cast in that large shadow?
Well, I believe they need to set 3 feet off the net, but it beat her in the angle. She's blocking lines, she's going straight up and down, but Cal's not executing. They're not passing, and they're not figuring out a way to beat this big block.
Bowen and DeSanto now with a 6-point lead. It's a best of 3 for each match. This is called a duel, and so there will be a point assigned to each match winner. Best of 5 wins.
The story continues for Cal. Hitting errors just killing them. They need to pass set, and this is a team for Cal that has some beach experience. I felt like they would control the ball better against the very physical team of Stanford.
Stanford making it work with both Bowen's block and DeSanto setting Bowen on the option. And so, Holly, while we have a moment, let's take us through the format of the match.
Well, there's 5 matches of pairs. The best 3 of 5 wins the match. This is the first flight you're seeing. Pairs 4 and 5 from each school compete against each other. And then the second flight is pairs 1, 2, and 3 will face off. Sets 1 and 2, 21 points. And if you win 2 straight, that's it. If you're tied 1 apiece, you'll go to the third set, 15-point wins, and you have to win by 2.
And we return to the action as Megan Schmidt is talking with her team, Neff and Einthoven, and you've told us you'd like to see an adjusted approach, and what else?
Well, just give them room to operate around the block and challenge the other way. Challenge, hit the angle, hit the cut, and take Bowen out of the equation. But 7, 8 hitting errors for Cal, you cannot win a match like that.
3-1 record over the last 10 days for Neff and Einthoven, as this pairing we mentioned is brand new. But a similar pairing to what they had had before. Tia Neff saying it's similar. She's doing all the blocking as she always had. Well dug by Einthoven. That's the right idea.
Well, the right idea, but another hitting error. You cannot do that. Keep the ball in the court. Let Stanford make the error at this point. Too many balls in the net or out from Cal.
Bowen and DeSanto rolling in set number 1 for the 4 pairs. Meanwhile, tied up on the other court for the 5 pairs. We'll get to them in a bit. Corner shot.
Well, that's what I want to see. Taya Neff just went up and hit angle away from Courtney Bowen and gets a kill.
Serving DeSanto, Bowen offers to set instead, giving Cal an opportunity. Tight, trying to turn it the other way.
Again, the story continues. Cal needs to change that going into the second set. Right now, it seems insurmountable to come back in this first set.
DeSanto is a beach-only player for Stanford. Bowen, we mentioned, from Brooklyn. She had never stepped on a beach playing before January. Coach saying it's really fun to see her get better quickly. No blocker on. Neff says, I'm going to work.
That was the first time Courtney Bowen pulled off the net and left the net clear. Taya Neff gets excited about that. Good snap down. If Courtney Bowen would have stayed, that would have been lights out.
DeSanto passes. Neff waiting for it. Goes little, does DeSanto.
Jennifer DeSanto right now, so far, good first contact, controlling the ball. Courtney Bowen giving her a good set, and DeSanto just doing some short shots, getting them to drop for Stanford.
Neff, no blocker on. Bowen sets. Neff waiting for DeSanto. Closes the door.
That's the first time we've seen DeSanto try and take an aggressive swing, and Taya Neff gets a big block and much needed point for Cal.
Strong cross court to DeSanto. Neff up to block. Eitoven working without a block on the net. Goes to the back line. It goes a little bit long.
Good idea to go deep to that corner, but about 2 inches long for Cal.
Bowen up at the net where she's most comfortable. In addition to lettering in volleyball in high school, she lettered in basketball, lacrosse, badminton, and swimming.
Wow.
Like sports, yeah, 5 letters. Pulling off the net for the set. Bowen passes. Neff's there, and Neff shuts the door, makes her presence known for a second time.
2 good blocks by Taya Neff, but Courtney Bowen was hitting that ball on the way down. Her timing just a little off. Cal gets the point.
It remains set point for Stanford's 4 pair of Bowen and DeSanto. Eitoven. Bowen had the idea, but it went long.
Cal able to keep the ball in the court and win that point. That's what you want to do. Keep the pressure on Stanford.
Down the line. Strong serve from Eitoven.
Great serve by Katie Eitoven. She's struggled offensively this match, but coming in strong with some big serves. 15, looking at 20.
Cal has been holding off Bowen and DeSanto on this set point. What's been the key to that success?
Well, some service pressure, keeping the ball in play and letting Stanford make the air instead of them. That's really been the difference.
Going at DeSanto. Pulling off the net, another error. And Neff and Eitoven have been chipping away within 4.
Well, as soon as I said insurmountable lead, they made a huge comeback.
They didn't like that.
Good for Cal because they really were out of rhythm early in this first set.
Bowen is waiting. Sharp cut. And then looking deep. Little knows little, and Bowen and DeSanto with that small shot get the first set.
DeSanto was patient to end that rally, ends it with a cut shot cross court. Stanford wins the first set.
Neff and Eitoven made some adjustments late in the first set. Will Cal keep those adjustments rolling, or will DeSanto and Bowen build upon what they got in their first set victory?
Hey there, can I help you with anything?
Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Welcome back to the campus of Stanford University. First round action between Stanford and Cal in this beach volleyball match. Court 1, Bowen and DeSanto took set number 1 after Neff and Eitoven made some critical adjustments. On Court 2, it was close for most of the way, but again, it was Stanford of Alade and Robinson taking the first set over Wilson and Regalia. Holly, what are your early impressions?
Well, Stanford's got some size, some physicality. A lot of these players are known for their indoor game, but their physicality really making a difference for Stanford today. You saw Courtney Bowen on Court 1 with all the blocks and kills and really forcing Cal to make some big hitting errors. And then on the Court 2, Tammy Alade also having that kind of match with her physicality.
Let's join the action on Court 2, the 5 pairs, as they begin their second set. First ball sent long.
Karina Robinson, the smaller of the two Stanford players, will see most of the serves, and she's little, so you'll probably see her shoot the ball around the court a lot.
Alade sets, it's picked up well by Wilson. Keeping the ball away and a nice turn. Alade pulls off, right down the middle, it's a kill.
Tammy Alade for Stanford made a great turn to dig that shot over the block. I wish she would have turned and overhand hit that ball.
Rachel Wilson, a freshman, again a new pair. Things were shuffled around a little bit by Megan Schmidt in the recent weeks. Touches it and it's up. Well played by Cal as they stay with the pursuit, but tired, can't get there for the last.
Fantastic scramble play to keep the ball alive. This is a short little cut shot, nice spin, but Cal is scrappy, keeps it alive, gets it over.
Sent back again, but long.
Rachel Wilson trying to hit that ball deep middle. That's always a good area of the court. You have two people covering the court defensively. Deep middle usually drops. That one just long.
Wilson with no blocker, goes pokey.
Good run by Tammy Alade. She's the blocker. She retreated off the net to play defense because she thought the set was off. Good decision, but then she's got to come up and dig that short ball. Nice touch, just unable to convert that for Stanford.
No blocker, waiting at the net and now pulling off is Alade. Sent deep. Well dug, players switching sides at the end. Robinson looking for the line. Cal's defense is spot on. And they stretch the rally.
Good aggressive swing by Katie Regalia, number 13, to end that long rally for Cal. Right now, Cal's identity is their defense and then a good deep middle swing to end it.
Neither Wilson nor Regalia has a ton of length, 5'5" and 5'9", whereas Alade, 6'2", has some length, but it's Robinson at 5'4" who finds the deep corner.
Well, Karina Robinson just used one of my favorite shots, the rainbow shot to the corner. Tough to shoot that accurately and then very tough to defend. Beautiful.
As the teams switch sides, Alade, who had 5 aces in the first set, sends that one long, but she's serving tough, which we always hear you say is the first rule to this game.
Yeah, you want to definitely start the match aggressive, and then if you're making too many errors, then you dial it back. But tough serving creates point scoring opportunities. That time, Karina Robinson going for the corner, hitting that one long.
Wilson and Regalia 2-2 as new partners, finding their way, but their defense keeping everything into a longer rally. But the cutty again from Robinson, showing she's got some beach skills.
Karina Robinson moving the ball around, and Tammy Alade doing a good job for Stanford, just setting a nice, easy ball up, keeping it alive and giving Stanford the opportunity to win the rally.
Robinson is a beach-only player for Stanford out of Austin, Texas.
Great deep shot by Rachel Wilson, finds a line. Cal up 7-4 in this second set.
Just standing, delivering to the corner. Alade a little bit caught, trying to decide whether she's going back or up.
If I was Tammy Alade, I would stop sooner in the court, because every time she drops, they hit it short. So if she retreats off the net, stop a little sooner and expect the short one. Don't worry about the deep one at this point.
Set not where they wanted, but still Robinson just going little.
Well, Karina Robinson gets her feet to the ball. Nice little roll shot. That's all she needs to do.
Alade and Robinson being challenged by the defense of Wilson and Regalia, who are controlling it, extending the rallies. Alade. Wilson goes high off hands.
Alade making great athletic moves at the net for Stanford, but can't come up with that ball. A 9-5 switch for Cal.
And yeah, Holly, talk about that great athletic move where it's coming off her hands for the block, and what she needs to do to play that successfully.
Well, she's touching it first on the block. She's allowed to get off the net and touch the second ball. She needs to pop it straight up so her partner can get it over. But that's an advanced move, and she's already making the first part of the move, which is really impressive.
And people who are new to this game and the difference between indoor and beach. Indoor, these middle blockers, never would you turn around and touch that ball. There's somebody behind you in 6-man.
Well, exactly. There's 5 other players there to support you and dig the ball. Your job is to hit and play defense.
Head coach of Stanford's program, Denise Corlett, first season as Stanford's head coach. She's been with this indoor program for 27 years.
Denise Corlett, a legend in her own right, great athlete at UCLA, but been here for a long time.
Alade sets Robinson. Patrolling the net well. And looking for that rainbow again, this time wide.
Good idea, just missed that one wide, but that rally, you see the ball control. There are going to be long rallies looking for a chance to put that ball away.
5-point lead for Cal's 5-pair, Wilson and Regalia. Alade pulling off. Just looking to the corner cross.
Good defense. Cal's on a roll, playing the court well, staying 2 down. And then you see the transition cross court for the kill.
It's been a 5-0 run for Cal as they have controlled Alade and Robinson with a 12-6 lead in set number 2. Meanwhile, action continuing on court number 1. The 4 pairs tied up at 8 apiece. First set, Bowen and DeSanto had a sizable lead, but Neff and Einthoven made some adjustments, and it looks like they've continued to do so.
Well, volleyball is a game of momentum, and I think Cal gained some momentum at the end of that first set, and now you see much closer in the second set for Cal.
On the right side of your screen, Einthoven. Little shot, and those are the adjustments you wanted early, Holly.
Exactly. There you see 9-9 going the other way, avoiding trying to beat Bowen at the net.
And so it's 9-9 tied up on court number 1, but let's return to court 2 for the 5 pairs where Wilson and Regalia of Cal have controlled the second set.
Cal has a nice beat on what they're doing offensively, what Stanford's doing, and they're doing a good job transitioning for points.
Looking for that corner. Into the net, messy play. Net violation, though. And Cau gets a break.
Well, that ball was set too tight. Tamialade for Stanford wanted to go up, made an aggressive play. Unfortunately, she followed through into the net.
Cut deep. No blocker on. Playing a short court, half court, and the length of Alade.
I like it. Tamialade said, I'm going to call my number. This ball's right on, puts it away. She doesn't get a lot of chances to swing because Karina Robinson, her partner, is getting all the serves.
Yeah, and she didn't try to put it down with power. She just tried to put it where they're not, and that's another key you talk about a lot.
Really important to find the open court.
Great move by Alade coming in to get that overpass and then turning it the other way.
Tamialade showing some nice promise with the poke shot down the line.
We're going to step away for a bit. First flight action on the campus of Stanford University.
This is
the Cal Bears. You're watching Pac-12 Bay Area.
Among the fans watching today, Jordan Burgess, the 2014 ABCA First Team All-American, a huge part of this indoor program. Amongst the fans here at Stanford University.
Looks like she's recovering from shoulder surgery. They expect to have her back for the next beach season next year.
And we return to the action on the court. We'll go to court 2 again. The 5 pairs still working. Wilson and Regalia of Cal have a lead early, or in the second set, answering back after Alade and Robinson took set 1. Tough serve by Alade, and that's how she got 5 aces in the first set. Well passed and pulls out the knuckles.
Tamialade sees the court really well for Stanford. She takes the open court, and you don't see people use the pokey, the knuckle shot, too often their first year on the beach.
Looked like the Viper too. Knuckle spread really wide. She had a plan. You could see it coming up. Meanwhile, they have closed that gap after a 5-0 run. Now Stanford within 3. It's tight. And she cheers on her partner, Robinson, who finds the corner.
Karina Robinson, time finding the deep line for the Stanford point. 11 looking at 13.
Again, this sport different than what you might think in terms of Olympic beach volleyball, Holly. It's a team sport, and that's a different approach.
It's definitely a different approach. You've got basically 10 athletes representing your school, if those are the ones that compete. So it's 5 pairs competing. You have to win 3 of 5, so you have to have depth. And you feel more of the team concept in terms of supporting one another. There's a lot of support from the other teams when you're out there competing. You need something, the team's there.
We apologize for those of you that see hits on your video, technical difficulty. And Holly, while you're talking about that support, the first year this year of an NCAA sponsored sport, and they're supporting a team championship, not a pairs championship. And that really plays well to the programs who have been in this for the full 5 years.
Well, yes, depth. I think for the teams that have been doing it for 5 years, they finally have depth of 5 solid teams. And for the teams or the programs that have started a little further behind, like these 2 programs, they're a little bit further behind in terms of depth, but moving in the right direction. And both programs really excited about the way they're improving.
Alade and Robinson, after a slow start to set number 2, have become much more aggressive.
Again, Karina Robinson, we've seen her use all the shots. This one really deep. Cal can't control it. Stanford creeping back.
Alade, the most aggressive server on either of the courts early on, has moved people around. 5 aces in the first set. Solid swing, but went long, and Alade's back behind the service line.
That time Cal trying to avoid the big block, just missing it out of bounds. They were going to the open court. Tamialade again with another ace. Her serve has been a big difference in this match.
Alade bringing a little bit of carryover from her indoor game. She's from Canada. Played a little bit this season for the indoor team against Minnesota, Texas A&M. And Coach Dunning, the indoor head coach, telling us she's going to see some more time going forward.
I remember he said she was really pushing in the gym for some playing time last year. I think we're going to see her a lot on the hard court next year.
John Dunning, the director of volleyball for Stanford's program, the Beach Program. He's the indoor head coach.
Cal had another opportunity. You see Tammy Alade at the net, but an unforced hitting error from Cal again gives Stanford the point.
Tied up at 16 apiece. Stanford pushing to go ahead. Alade setting Robinson. A pokey there as Karina Robinson cannot pick up Wilson's poke.
Rachel Wilson this time going around the block, trying to avoid Tammy Alade for the Cal kill.
What was a 12-6 lead has evaporated. Cal a tenuous 1 point. They continue to serve Robinson as you'd expect. No blocker on. Alana moving forward. Second effort. Aggressive by Wilson.
Cal knows they need to take advantage. Roll shot, Alade lays out, pops it up, keeps it alive, but then Cal goes right back at her as she's getting up for the Cal kill.
Yeah, Wilson's had 15 kills in this match, a mid-year transfer from Arizona.
Another hitting error for Stanford right now. Cal's got a lot of momentum, up 19-16 in this second set.
Yeah, they want to push it to a third set. Third set, much like the fifth set in indoor volleyball, Holly, a different approach because it's shorter.
Definitely, but you want momentum going into that third set so you can take that into the last set and put yourself in a better chance to win.
Robinson trying to go sharp, ends up on her own side.
Cut shot too sharp. Cal gaining momentum, playing some really solid defense in this second set.
Set point for Cal's Wilson and Regalia. Alade sets behind her. Pulling off, trying to get in. The second set is taken by Cal as Wilson and Regalia adjust and advance to a third set.
Good solid play, some nice adjustments by Cal to come back and win that second set. I'd like to see more options by Tammy Alade on that court.
Well, while they prepare for their third set, we're going to take a look at the other court. We'll come back for the third set of this one, but let's take a look at court number one in the four pairs. Eindhoven and Neff of Cal fell to DeSanto and Bowen in set number one. Bowen and DeSanto again with a lead. And that's how it happened. Bowen.
Courtney Bowen at the net. Not only is she blocking balls, but she's forcing hitting errors from the Cal team. Her presence alone has been a huge factor on this court.
Bowen, one of those super smart Stanford players that she has a service error. She's going to spend her summer this year in the freshman enhancement program with Morgan Stanley, a 10-week internship immersed in the world of finance, only at Stanford. She likes the teamwork aspect, she said, of Wall Street, so you can see why she'd be loving this team sport. And clearly she's not afraid of the high intensity either.
Cal on a little bit of a roll, 16-19 with the side change and the trickler ace from Taya Neff.
And in set one, we thought maybe the hole was dug too big, but Neff and Eindhoven answered back. So with a 3-point deficit in set number two, we'll see what Neff and Eindhoven can do. Neff, sharp cutty.
Taya Neff with the sharp cutty away from Bowen. Good kill for Cal and a little momentum on their side of the net. Back-to-back points. Good set from Eindhoven and Taya Neff. Angles her approach and goes away from the big block.
Now these two teams just kind of in the infancy of their programs still. Cal and Stanford are, as are some of the teams. Pac-12 has really made a commitment to beach volleyball. USC, UCLA in on the ground floor. USC was, and looking at all the programs who have committed.
Well, UCLA has been the most recent team to really go all in, and they've made some huge strides. So those top three, USC, UCLA, Arizona, all ranked very high. Arizona State improving all the time, and Stanford, Cal, Oregon, Washington making a little bit later move, but it's nice that they're involved and committed.
Yeah, and Utah going to join next season and field a beach volleyball team. So Pac-12 amongst the leaders. All these teams will see each other in the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship, the tournament, at the end of April.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the teams that we haven't, like Washington and Oregon. Washington, known for their fantastic indoor program. It's going to be fun to see those players competing in the sand, as well as Oregon.
Little shot up as DeSanto seeing the majority of the serves and loving it. And it is now match point.
Little short cut shot gets the top of the tape. Eindhoven diving, tries to keep it alive, hitting in the antenna, out of bounds.
And this is for the first point of the duel. If Bowen and DeSanto sweep Neff and Eindhoven, Stanford picks up their first point today in this duel. Bowen crushes it to make her point, and Stanford has the first point of the duel.
Well, I'm impressed with Courtney Bowen and her physicality, and then Jennifer DeSanto just using her ball control, staying in the match, playing a smart game for Stanford.
And so we're going to step away for a moment as Stanford enjoys the first point of the duel, the Cardinal with a 1-0 lead.
This week, it's all happening on
NCAA tournament.
Stanford with a 1-0 lead in this duel as their four pair picked up a sweep over Cal's fours. We're going to return to this action though on court two as the five pairs have gone into a third set.
Stanford's Karina Robinson shooting the ball well, short, deep, moving it around, and Tammy Alade making some big plays from the service line and the net for Stanford.
Wilson showing her beach experience, a little dribbler.
Clear net, and then the dribbler that dropped short for Cal. Cal with the slight advantage, 5-3 in this third set.
Oh, that one looked like it was going to be a second tape shot from Wilson on the serve, but no dice. And Holly, these teams split the first and second set. What do you think is going to separate the winner in set number 3?
Well, it's who puts more pressure on the other team and then who executes. So who makes the least amount of errors. But Tammy Alade's been really good from the service line in scoring points for Stanford.
Wilson going hard. Little gator dig from Robinson. I got it, she said as she tried to reach back, but needed a few more inches.
Cal's scrappy defense really keeping them alive. They've been winning a lot of long rallies, and that's really kept them in this match.
Wilson and Regalia dropped set number 1, came back with some aggressive play, pulling all the beach shots they have out of their pockets, and had success set 2. And some unforced errors by Stanford.
The one thing I think this Stanford team can do better is have Tammy Alade hit the ball. When the pass, Karina Robinson has great passing and ball control. Anywhere near the net, have Tammy Alade go up and aggressively put that ball away. She has nice court vision, good hand, but she's got to be aggressive, and I think she'll have some success getting some easy kills for Stanford.
That one just in the back line, and the lead has grown for Wilson and Regalia.
Wilson and Regalia playing some solid defense, and that's really been the difference. They've been able to get Karina Robinson in a little trouble, and then they transferred their digs into points.
Yeah, speaking of points, when you took a look at the numbers of volleyball and the way that this sport has grown so quickly and so exponentially, it's only the 5th year of the program, of the sport, and programs getting added in every year.
Well, you see 2016, about 57, 36 more projected by 2021. It's exciting, the fastest growing NCAA sport there is.
90th NCAA sponsored championship this year. First time that beach volleyball will be an NCAA championship. It'll be in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And a really exciting time, the first weekend of May. USC, the national champions, both in the team and pairs. Last year, as we mentioned, there won't be a pairs this year, but USC hoping to be there. UCLA looking pretty good too right now.
UCLA has made some huge strides beating ranked teams, undefeated Pepperdine last week, as well as Hawaii and Arizona State in Hawaii.
3-0 Cal run. And with no one on, Wilson picks that up. Big block in front of her. She sees it and rainbows it to the back line.
Beautiful execution right there by Rachel Wilson. Not only did she make a nice dig, but she went high over the blocker and the defender for the Cal point.
Well, that's always frustrating. An overpass error turns into a kill.
Well, Karina Robinson was trying to pass it up for an option play, but the ball went all the way over. Cal was not ready for that.
Perfect conditions here today. Not too much wind. Beautiful sun, warm. Stanford really showing off their new facility. Too much of a turn, and Wilson looks at her hand like it betrayed her.
Well, Wilson had open net. Tammy Alade had dropped off the net and just missed that ball with her hand. That's the execution I'm talking about. Go up, you have clear net, use your hand, put that ball away, especially in this third set.
If Cal is able to maintain their lead and take this point of this duel, we'll go into the next flight of games. The 1, 2, and 3 pairs completely even, all the pressure on those pairs.
Back to Stanford with Karina Robinson on the line, down 2 points.
Robinson serves Wilson. Set not where they want, they keep it in play. Alade, and the set is not at all what she hoped. A little bit of a broken play, and whoever can recover is going to get the point, and it's Cal.
Well, Stanford had just scored 2 points in a row, but that time Cal gets a good break on a bad set and use it to go up 10-7.
Deep line. There's some veteran experience, Wilson.
You're seeing the beach play and the scrappy defense and the way these two work together. Katie Regalia and Rachel Wilson. They've got nice chemistry, fighting hard.
Wilson, a freshman out of Cardiff by the Sea, California. Has just used her head, kept an eye, and now is serving. She goes at Alade. Alade had plans for that ball, but it never went over.
Gutsy play by Wilson to go after Tammy Alade. She's got the size advantage, but Tammy Alade, her timing a little off, hitting that ball on the way down. That ball never cleared the net.
No blocker on. Looking for the back line, did not get it, a little bit long, and Alade and Robinson are going to need to make some big moves now as they are down by 4.
Tammy Alade on the back line, which is a good sign for Stanford. This is a strong rotation. They scored lots of points with her on the back line, but they are down 8, looking at 12 for Cal.
Yeah, Alade had 5 service aces in that first set victory for Stanford. But a little too long there.
And Cal's excited about it. Katie Regalia, one of the most fiery players in the program. Back to serve.
Ends up putting up a tough serve. Stanford on the run. And it was too tight on the pass.
Well, that's a free ball play that Cal needs to take care of at the end of this third set, but Stanford gets the break.
No blocker on turn. She's been looking for that shot all day.
Got a piece of the line this time. The play before, she missed that one.
And it's match point for Cal. Oh. Cal, aggressive serve. Regalia, strong kill, and Cal picks up the point as the fives even things up in this duel.
Nice come from behind win for Cal. Scrappy defense and staying in system was the key for them.
Two programs showing that they are evenly matched as the fours for Stanford won the fives for Cal. And so we're tied up at 1 apiece in this duel. Coming up, the second flight of games, the 1, 2s, and 3s take the court.
You done yet?
This duel tied up at 1 apiece between Stanford and Cal. Best of 5 here, first televised match at Stanford's new sand volleyball facility. And hi, everybody. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time Olympian Holly McPeak and a special guest in the booth, John Dunning, head coach of the indoor team, but today your role director of volleyball because you oversee all the programs. For this Stanford program, how excited are you about where they are right now?
Yeah, it's a process. When the sport started, we obviously wanted to have a team. There are a lot of reasons. One of them is this is Carrie Welsh's school. I mean, it's a good start right there. Plus, we just love the game. Denise has grown up around sand volleyball her whole life, and so there was a lot of interest, but it was a really, really hard time to start it. They got 18 teams to go the first year, and you have to have, around 50 to get the sport legitimized and have a championship. And so it was kind of an on-trial thing, and all the Bay Area schools got together and said, we want to do this. We have no money, and so let's start it up. And we had no scholarships, no pay, no nothing. And then we got lucky because John Arriaga decided to build the sand courts here, and they're marvelous. It's a pretty good centerpiece for a program, and you have no money to do what we need to do in the other parts for a while, but we have this, and this is a good thing to build around. And so we knew we were going to start slow, and we're okay with it. There was a lot of pressure. We have a lot of resources at the school. Our indoor team is very successful. The athletes who come to our programs want to try to succeed at a high level, and we didn't have the money, and so we now have a course set where we're in good shape. We hired a coach this year. Denise stepped in for me to be the head coach this year. They've been a great pair training a lot of our young players who are new to the freshmen new to the program on the indoor program that came out. We only have 3 outdoor but probably next year we'll have 8. It's going to grow from there. We now have a scholarship plan in place within 4 or 5 years to have a full contingent of scholarships. And I think as we go meshing the programs in a different way as it grows, we can end up having a really good program. We're very excited about it. I know that there's a lot of feelings that people want us to go faster than we can, but this is as fast as we could go.
You're right. It is a process, and trying to find the depth in your program, I think, is the biggest challenge for all the programs. What does having your indoor players play beach do for your indoor game?
It makes them busy. They didn't necessarily sign up, although some of our freshmen this year clearly did. They're all in on it to be two-sport athletes. But there's the things that people told me, because I wasn't a sand person, clearly, but the things that they said, you're gonna love this part of it, like the ball control, all the things that you understand. But there are other things that are way more important to me than that they're getting from this. Like in sixes, you can hide on the court with your personality. When you're out in the sand with a partner, you're isolated. Everybody knows what's going on. And you either learn how to make your partner better with who you are as a person, not a player, or you won't succeed. And that carried into the indoor is just a monster. It's huge. That learning that part about how you can help your team in this setting and bringing it indoor is wonderful. And along with all the other things, a little toughness. We played through some serious rain and a lot of wind, and you can't move, nearly the same until you learn how. And I really like that part too. It's like an endless list you could come up with.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, John. It is indeed a beautiful facility. Thanks for having us here.
Yep.
We look forward to the first flight of action coming up next and to seeing your indoor team next year as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. When we come back, we'll see the 1, 2s, and 3s. Hey, we're all tied up here in Stanford. This match is getting hot.
PG&E, we believe solar should be accepted
on Pac-12 Network.
On the campus of Stanford University, Stanford and crosstown rival Cal locked up at 1 apiece in this beach volleyball duel. Beautiful facility here. Best of 5. And taking a look at the action from the first flight of games, 4 and 5 squared off, and Holly split. Each team getting better during the match.
Yeah, we saw some adjustments made, but Courtney Bowen was too big at the net for Neff and Eindhoven on court 1, and then you see Wilson Regalio played some scrappy defense to come back and win that in 3 sets.
And so as we get ready for the second flight of action, the 1, 2s, and 3s, we're joined in the booth by special guest Rich Feller, the director of volleyball for Cal, also the head coach of the women's indoor team. But you're here overseeing a large program. What's your vision for this Cau Beach program?
Well, we hope to grow it, as everyone does, so that it matches the national trend, which is more and more support, more and more scholarship dollars, more and more facilities at high quality like this one here, and get it so that beach volleyball is one of the top collegiate sports. And I think that we're on the right track. We've built from the ground up and built very slow and getting better. And after the Olympics this summer, I think there's going to be a huge boost to the interest of beach volleyball once again, and I think that'll spur some more interest that'll take us to that next level.
It seems like you're moving towards separation of beach and indoor, maybe with a couple of exceptions. Is that the case?
That's pretty much the case for us. This beach team is 90% beach-only players. A couple non-scholarship athletes that wanted to cross over for the spring were allowed to do that. I may have 1 or 2 indoor athletes over the course of the next several years that I deem worthy of doing both, and the ability to do both. Once we're fully funded with the beach program, it'll be harder and harder to do because you can't switch back and forth like that. But right now, we're really trying to separate it out. I want to do this the right way. I want to give more people an opportunity to play. I don't want to overuse my indoor players with year-round training. So it's a win-win for us, and we may take some lumps against some of the fully sponsored teams, but we're going to get there.
When you come to a facility like this, in my mind, this is the best one in the country here at Stanford. What do you see for Cal in the future?
Well, we're working very hard right now to find a good location on campus to build a facility that has this size amount of sand. I'm not sure it'll have quite the touches, but it will have this much area, we hope, with 4 courts. And it's been talked about at the highest levels on the Cal campus. So now it's just a matter of study, figuring out the right place, raising some money and getting the funding in place, and then getting it done. And we've already got a lot of interest and a significant amount of dollars that are sort of pledged if we get the plan in motion.
Rich, as you look at the indoor players, some of them you mentioned are going to cross over and play both sports. For you, what's the biggest challenge in having an athlete play both sports?
Well, I think it's really just their time commitment. And, the indoor game is very, very intensive in hard court, beating up the body, jumping on a hard surface, hitting the floor, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of the times those players really need that break in the spring where you're only with them a couple hours a week for a portion of the spring. They get to lift, they get to do the other things. If they're now on the beach, they're getting a different kind of conditioning, but they don't get to really rest their bodies because they're in full competition mode for a full year. And I think that's the biggest challenge.
Hey, Coach, how about this? They're doing double duty, so we're going to have you do double duty as well. Stay with us, if you would. We're going to take a look at the next flight of action. Court 1, the pair 1. Court 2, pair 2. Court 3, pair 3. We've got them all laid out here. Feel free to look at our cards if you don't know Stanford's players as well. And we're going to start our action on court number 1 with the 1 pairs. Cole and Moreno versus Hudson and Chang. Now, Sarah Cole, number 5 for the Cal Bears, was out last week with an injury. She's back now, and so for Mia Moreno, she's kind of played with a different partner and back again. How challenging is that?
Me?
Yeah, it's you.
Okay.
You and Holly.
Well,
yeah.
I think the good thing about the beach team, they have been interchanging partners quite a bit right up until they started the season. So everyone's played with everyone a little bit, and it was really just a 1-week period that they had to sub Sarah out. And we didn't change the other pairings. We just brought someone off the bench, had her partner with Mia for that one tournament, and now Sarah's back. So there wasn't a big loss in continuity there.
And Haley Hudson and Peyton Chang are a relatively new team for Stanford as well, but they are undefeated in the last couple weeks they've been competing together.
Yeah, Hudson and Chang 4-0 on the season, only played together for a week and a half or so. Hudson takes a turn down the line.
Over the top for Haley Hudson, showing why she's one of the best indoor hitters in the country, that time finding the open court.
Yeah, we've seen that play a lot.
Threatening to go on 2, and then a crank from Mia Moreno.
Mia Moreno will be aggressive when she's got open net. She likes to hit, even though she's small. She's dynamic enough to get up and hit that ball hard.
Moreno, one of those freshmen, Rich, for your program. She's beach only, I believe, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She's one of our first true beach recruits, along with Grace Campbell, where we talked to them quite early in the recruiting process and making some promises that we would have a beach program to be proud of by the time they got there, and I think we finally realized that now, and Mia's come in and earned the number 1 spot here as a freshman, playing with a very experienced Sarah Cole, and it's a good combination.
I think they have a nice balance. Sarah Cole has some nice feel at the net, blocking and offensively, and then Mia Moreno scraps around and plays defense behind.
Sarah played indoor for us for a couple years and was an outside hitter / DS, and inch for inch, she's one of the best blockers I've seen indoor, and she's carrying that over into the sand. She's not a big person at the net, but she blocks very well and intelligently, and Mia can play some defense behind her, so it's a good combo.
Hudson's serve falls well short, and Holly, we see when it pairs like that, people are going to go after Moreno, but she's so aggressive on the net, and Sarah Cole's a good setter.
Yeah, that's why you have to figure out a strategy. How are you going to beat them? You see Cal serving the ball at Haley Hudson. You'd think they'd start on Peyton Chang and made Peyton Chang put the ball away against their defense.
Yeah, how about that, Rich?
I'm not the coach, but I might try that at least to see. I know what Haley Hudson can do indoor with the ball at the net or even at the 3-meter line, so I think I might take a chance on the shorter player there.
Yeah, we'll see if they do that with Chang. Chang also sets. But again, Moreno, strong swing. Chang, little shot. Moreno picks it up. And you can see her beach experience, Holly. She goes a little bit wide there, but she's got an arsenal of shots.
Fantastic defense. She digs this short ball, little roll shot, gets under it, lifts it, but doesn't get back to take an approach, and then that gets a little under that ball, hitting it wide in transition.
Little shot won't fall. And so Chang continues to serve. Hudson at the net, an incredibly strong freshman in the indoor side, carried a lot of load this year for the Cardinal. They try to go over her. The challenge for her, she hits a Cole, Holly, we've talked about it before. Those indoor players a lot of times like to crank away, and that isn't necessarily this game.
No, you're right, but Haley Hudson did have some training in high school on the beach, so she spent a year learning the beach game and has some experience. Peyton Chang as well split her time indoor and beach. There you see Sarah Cole option on 2 to the open corner for the Cal point.
And you mentioned Cole playing indoor for you, Rich. She made the decision this year to go beach only, right? She was not with you indoor. Why'd she make that decision?
She just felt like this was a better game for her, and she was a role player for us, whereas here she can get out there and play 100% of the time and earn her number one spot. I think she did think she was going to play with Nikki Gumbar, who was going to play a final season of sand, and they would have been a great partnership. And then Nikki got hurt at the end of the indoor season, so it was probably a nice surprise for Sarah that Mia was as good as she was and that this partnership is working out really well.
Well, Mia Moreno probably brings more experience on the beach. She's grown up playing and competing. This is sets way off the net, but she hits a high ball right at the retreating blocker, gets the Cau point.
And they do serve Chang at that time. Of course, Chang has beach chops and goes high line.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. Do you want to serve someone who's going to hit the ball so you can play straight up defense, or try and defend somebody who's going to shoot the ball? Depending on your strength as a defensive team, that's where you pick your strategy.
I like the way you put that in the form of a question, Holly, and we're both looking at you with your 3 Olympics saying, I don't know, do you?
Really? I answered that question.
You did.
Yeah.
Take a look at the net violation here. The effort on the block, but a fall through into the net.
Sarah Cole tried to grab that tight treble set, just too aggressive.
The 2015 ABCA National Freshman of the Year, Haley Hudson. Moreno goes a little too hard, sharp on that one.
I'd like to see Mia Moreno shoot the ball a little bit more. You want to establish the hit, but you also want to move the ball around the court, and she's got the ability to do that.
Hudson going on the second. Cole has a nice hammer on it, but it's dug by Chang. Chang makes her turn around. A good follow by Cole. And then the cutty goes a little bit wide. The action on court 1, 12-7 Stanford advantage. On court 2, well, it's a Cal advantage as Bark and Lamette leading Vanyak and Raquel 11-7. And a close one on the 3 pairs, 9-8. Moreno goes around Hudson, but wide.
You got to love this 3-ring circus going on here, right?
It's pretty hard to watch all 3 and bounce back and forth, but right now we're focused on court 1.
Cole steps in. Nice set from Chang. Chang on line. Cole getting up a lot. She was a defensive player for you at one point as well, Rich. It feels like she was anyway, in backcourt defensive specialist.
Yes. This is a great rally on there.
Yeah, longest rally so far. Right. And so, Rich, thank you for joining us and for stepping in and doing double duty as we'll return with more action. Rich Feller is going to go back to being the director of Cal Volleyball.
Thank you so much.
Before you see it on TV.
He's going to score.
I know you asked me to call you the AT&T hostess with the most...
Okay, shut her down. Turn it off.
Right now, buy an iPhone and get another one free when you add a second line.
Welcome back. Beach volleyball action on Pac-12 Network. Stanford and Cal tied up at 1 apiece in this duel. We remind you that there's 5 teams that play. The 4 and 5 pairs played earlier, and they split. Now we've got the first, second, and third pairs in action in their first sets. We have been watching the action on court 1, pair 1. Cole and Moreno of Cal facing Hudson and Chang of Stanford. And it's been interesting, Holly, because you can really feel Mia Moreno's beach experience, but Haley Hudson is just a volleyball player through and through.
Well, Mia Moreno is playing against players who played on the beach, so they have experience covering the court. And Haley Hudson, not only is she a good blocker, but she knows how to get off the net and play defense as well. So that's a challenge for Mia Moreno to beat her at the net and find a way to put the ball down with Peyton Chang in the backcourt.
Now, Hudson, part of the USA program, well before she even got into Stanford. As a high schooler, received some coaching from Karch Karai and other greats, including you, I believe.
That time, Haley Hudson doesn't go over the net. She's very disciplined, gets there, touches the ball, puts it down for Stanford.
Her partner Chang, also part of the indoor program here. Chang, number 10 in white, a freshman, came out of Mater Dei High School in Newport Beach area. Good crank by Moreno, but again, long and no touch.
Mia Moreno seeing the open net. She wants to be aggressive, missing that ball deep, middle, and long. But that's where I think she should cut the ball, shoot it short, do something else besides hit in that situation.
Cuddy.
One of the things that Coach Megan Schmidt says about Mia Moreno is she's fearless, and I love that about her. And that's the nice thing. Look at this cut shot, perfect execution, and she can do that all over the court. That's why I want to see her use a mix of hits and shots.
Down the line, what a turn by Chang. It goes long.
And good drop off the net by Sarah Cole. She does a good job identifying the set as off the net and getting back to play defense.
Chang taps it down.
Mia Moreno there for Cal, unable to pop it up. Stanford right now commanding lead, 18-10.
Holly, Hudson, not only a part of the indoor program, but a huge part of the indoor program. Do you expect to see her continue on the beach for these 4 years?
Well, that's a really good question. She actually did not compete or train in the winter quarter. She had some injuries that she needed to let heal. You know, she's got Olympic dreams, I think, both indoor and on the beach, but indoor might be in the forefront. So it's going to be interesting to see if she stays with both sports going forward after this year.
Are there advantages at all to staying with both sports? I know the disadvantages in terms of playing this way. Are there any advantages to playing both?
Well, I think beach volleyball is great for your indoor game, but when you're trying to compete against the best teams or best players in the country to represent your country indoors, these girls play all year round and just get better and better indoors. So I think they're getting more reps, and I think, you know, if you want to play for Karch, it depends what Karch says. He's the boss.
Well, Karch has a strong beach experience, so certainly he'll know whether or not it will serve her, as Hudson and Chang inch closer towards a set one victory, and a little shot from Cole.
When Cal's in the middle of the court, Stanford basically playing I formation, and the little cut shots to either side dropping for Cal.
Do you like the I formation in that situation?
I don't. I'm not a fan of that. I think you need to favor one area or the other. I don't like the defender hiding behind the block. I think she needs to be inside the block so she can see the hitter. That ball hit just out of bounds, looked like an inch wide. Cal trying to make a run at the end of this first set.
Chang goes Cuddy. Moreno read it all the way, and Hudson just hanging out on the net.
Well, it's interesting. Peyton Chang has probably cut the ball in this first set at least 5 times, and she continues to make good plays for Stanford by getting an over dig or a play that Cal can't convert.
Left hand of Hudson saving that one as the set was going wide. Chang passing. No one on the net. Chang so strong, and it is set point for Hudson and Chang.
Good cross-court kill by Peyton Chang after the dig. Hudson and Chang covering the court very well defensively, moving well together.
Set point. Hudson pulling off. Moreno snaps down, but Chang digs it. Cole gets a hand on it, but not set, and Hudson and Chang take set number 1 for the one pairs. We're going to quickly take a look at the action on court number 3. Grace Campbell and Olivia Rodberg of Cal facing Holland McKenna and Moretta Lutz of Stanford.
Well-placed ball by Olivia Rodberg right there for Cal. 16 looking at 18 in this first set.
McKenna and Lutz, both from Stanford's indoor program. McKenna, the libero. Lutz setting her. Campbell, aware of Lutz's size, of course. Rodberg picks it up. Lutz going off the net, and so Rodberg unloads.
Again, Olivia Rodberg aggressive, attacking at Moreno Lutz. Everybody wants to hit away from her when she's at the net. Being 6'8", you tend to have that impact, but when she pulls off the net, you want to attack her.
Close match. Stanford with a 1-point lead in this match amongst the three pairs. Lutz going to stay and block.
Wow. Point opportunity loss for Cal. They had a good opportunity, just missing it wide, but Cal getting their points by going at Holland McKenna, who's the libero. That means she only plays defense. She doesn't get to jump and hit the ball ever indoors.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, of course, Lutz is then setting, which she never does indoors.
Correct, but there, another hitting error. Moreno Lutz, that long body at the net, affecting the offense of Cal.
Set point for Stanford amongst the three pairs. Lutz serving. And a tough serve by Moreno Lutz as Stanford's three pairs takes the first set of that action on court number 3.
It'll be interesting to see how Cal responds, because I think your first set you play a player like Lutz, you really are a little bit in shock. It'll be interesting to see if Cal responds.
And so we'll step away as the 1s and 3s of Stanford took the first set. Action still happening on court number 2.
How many gasoline?
On Pac-12 Network, where champions play.
More Pac-12 beach volleyball action, tied up at 1 apiece after the first flight of games. Second flight underway. Second set happening for the 1s, and the 3s are about to get started as well, where the 2 pairs are tied up at 19 apiece. Plenty of action, and it's going to be decided by these pairs today since the first flight of action was split. A reminder that it's best 2 out of 3 in each of these matches. You win your match, you win a point for your team. And the duel is decided best 3 out of 5. Let's rejoin the action on court number 1 as the Cal pair of Mia Moreno and Sarah Cole facing Haley Hudson and Peyton Chang of Stanford. Service ace by Cole.
Sarah Cole attacking the middle between Chang and Hudson. Hudson's taking a lot of court as a passer, but that ball went right middle and got Haley Hudson into some passing trouble.
Hudson sets Chang perfectly.
Peyton Chang, open net. She knows how to play this game, moves it around well, deep middle with 2 defenders back.
And Holly, what do you think of that pair, Hudson and Chang, and the way that they're looking so far? 2 indoor players, the number 1s for Stanford.
Well, 2 indoor players, but with some beach background. And I think having some knowledge, having played in the sand, that really helps them. They're not true indoor players making the conversion. They've had training in the sand. I think it shows.
Both out of Southern California area. Chang kind of naturally on the right. Hudson took the indoor world by storm this year, the 2015 ABCA National Freshman of the Year. Used to passing a lot of balls. As she passes that one, no one on the net. Moreno lines up and then cranks it back, all 5'7" of her.
Beautiful set by Sarah Cole. She looked like she was going to option the ball, and then she put up a pretty set. Nobody blocking. Mia Moreno stays aggressive, going cross court for the kill.
And Holly, we always talk about the length of the indoor players at times, but in beach volleyball, kind of what's the ideal body?
Well, it's moving more and more towards bigger players. You want a pretty good-sized player, a 6-footer who can do everything. But there's still room for smaller players, 5'7", 5'8". If they jump well, if they move around and dig balls and use the whole part of the court offensively. But you have to be great if you're small.
Well, Mia Moreno is certainly looking great with her placement.
Well, that time I like, instead of going up trying to hammer the ball, she just takes what they give her. Deep shot over the retreating blocker.
Well, that's the other part of the game that's a big adjustment for people learning the game is when to retreat, when not to as a blocker.
One of the most difficult things to teach, and you have to watch the set, and if it's off the net where the hitter can't hit it straight down, you get off as a blocker.
Hudson chooses to get off the cutty from Cole.
Cau looking a lot smoother, hitting away from Stanford's defenders instead of trying to challenge them with the power, and it's working well for Cau so far.
And so, Holly, building on that, when the blocker does pull off, there are adjustments that the defender needs to make?
Yes, the defender shifts over, so they're balancing the court. You've got two defenders instead of one. Stanford doesn't like what they're seeing in the second set and calls a timeout.
Cole and Moreno with a 6-point lead on court number one, answering back after Hudson and Chang took set number one. We're enjoying great beach volleyball action all year long on Pac-12 Network. Next week, more action. We'll get ourselves back out to UCLA again. They will host Long Beach State. There's the McKenna twins, the number ones for UCLA. And Holly, you've talked about how UCLA has made great strides quickly in their program.
Well, UCLA has recruited a lot of beach-only athletes, and really at the level, especially freshman twins, McNamara from Canada, up the level for UCLA. And the whole depth of the program is really greatly improved.
Yeah, we hope you'll join us next Wednesday for that match. Long Beach State versus UCLA, another top 10 match on Pac-12 Network. The McNamara twins, the Pac-12 beach volleyball pair of the week. They got some big wins last week for UCLA.
Over the undefeated Pepperdine team, Hawaii and ASU, Arizona State, in Hawaii over the weekend. So big week for UCLA volleyball.
Meanwhile, Hudson and Chang struggling in the second set. Holly, what adjustments do you need to see from the Cardinal on court one?
Well, I think Cal's made some adjustments, so now you have to adjust as well. They're playing better defense, moving the ball around the court. Stanford needs to serve and put more pressure on the Cal team.
Stanford had 7 freshmen on the squad. 4 of the freshmen have beach experience, including these two, Hudson and Chang. And I thought it was interesting that both John Dunning and Rich Feller, both directors of volleyball for the school, talked about growing the program slowly and how important it was for them to take their time and do it right.
Well, I think they're realizing what a full job this is. I mean, to build and create the depth in terms of having the players to fill out 5 teams. It's a lot of work, and finding beach-only athletes, and it's a full-time job, and I think both coaches respect that it's a building process.
Yeah, new opportunities for new athletes. I mean, certainly when the programs do separate, if they do, as USC, I mean, at USC, there's 35 female athletes playing Division I volleyball between the indoor and the sand teams. That's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely, and you're so right. New opportunities for new players. Right now, we're still seeing players that play both, but I think that will become more of an exception in the future.
Sarah Cole slides it to the side, and as John Dunning enjoys this match, he's got Inky and Janaku sitting with him, a star on the indoor side.
And she's been working hard to get healthy, so she is part of the Stanford indoor team in the fall.
Yeah, the 2014 Volleyball Magazine Player of the Year. We'll look forward to having her back in the middle. She missed this past season with her knee injury. Moreno. And Hudson hammering away.
Mia Moreno trying to shoot the ball, but getting a little predictable with her cut. She needs to work middle, short line, deep line, use a variety of shots, because Peyton Chang and Haley Hudson are too good, and they will start reading you if you have a pattern.
Hudson decides to stay for the block. Moreno goes down the line successfully.
Nice little line shot over the block. Drops fast for Cal. Cal really turned it around in the second set, leading 13-7.
Sarah Cole looks to the corner, ends up serving it wide. And so a 5-point lead for Cole and Moreno in set number 2 as Stanford making a push.
Pac-12 Bay Area.
This Pac-12 beach volleyball rivalry matchup is brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Taking a look at our summary of this match, the 4 and 5 pairs split, Holly, so all the pressure on the 1, 2s, and 3s.
Yeah, it's fun when it comes down to these last 3 matches, and looks like some tight action. Cal's really turned it around on this court 1, and they're leading in the second set.
Well, let's return to the action on court 1. Miriam Moreno and Sarah Cole of Cal, you mentioned, turned it around, been very aggressive in this second set, facing Haley Hudson and Peyton Chang. Hudson up, turns it towards the block, gets a touch off of it.
Well, Sarah Cole continues to try and block Haley Hudson's line. Haley Hudson's going over the top. That's where she feels comfortable. I would put Mia Moreno to dig her line and block her angle. I think that'd be a good change of strategy against Haley Hudson.
Moreno pops it up. Sarah Cole tries to go over the head, knuckles back. Bit of a broken play. And Hudson goes down the line to block that. Longest rally we've seen. Got to be breathing heavy at this point. Cole gonna have to get off the ground against Hudson. Mia Moreno gonna pull a beach shot out, and instead it goes long.
You get in those long rallies and you have to execute your offense. You have to hit to the open part of the court. That time went back way too many times. Mia Moreno, Sarah Cole, everyone's gassed on the court, airing to end that rally for Stanford.
It went back too many times. You're saying they're not executing, taking their time, creating a shot?
Yeah, after you dig the ball, you really work to put that ball away. You don't want to keep giving the other team a chance to get it and score.
Sarah Cole behind the service line, 5-point lead for Cal. Chicken wing by Hudson, but Chang was not back up.
Well, Sarah Cole just dropped the nice floater down the line. It's all about her tough serve. It went line drive and then dropped for the Cal point.
Hudson turns again to the line. They haven't made that adjustment yet.
Well, that's the same exact play, especially when Haley Hudson comes to the middle of the court. Move your block into the angle and put Mia Moreno where she continues to hammer the ball. Obviously, that's Haley Hudson's comfort zone. You want to take that away from her if you're the other team.
Moreno, nice one hand by Hudson, but can't get it all the way playable.
This time, ball set off the net. Haley Hudson for Stanford drops off the net, keeps it alive, but unable to control it on the Stanford side. 17-11 for Cal right now.
Moreno serving. It goes long. The door is just a crack open for Hudson and Chang. Still 5 points. A pretty big deficit to try to make up in the second set.
It is, but Hudson and Chang dominated the first set. I thought they played very smoothly. If they serve tough like that, that ball served middle. I think Sarah Cole needs to be a little bit more aggressive past middle, because all the pressure is really on Mia Moreno. She's getting the majority of the serves, and if you're her partner, you want to take a little pressure off of her.
Another aggressive serve, and it narrows even more now to a 3-point deficit. for Hudson and Chang. Hudson returning to the service line.
Haley Hudson going aggressive floater right at Mia Moreno, and the ball is moving.
Chang puts it away.
Peyton Chang continues to dig the ball and attack the seams. That time, deep middle for the Stanford point.
Holly, I can remember very early talking with you about Hudson and Chang in the indoor season, saying Hudson carries an awful big load, and you immediately said she can handle it. What is it about her as an athlete that can handle the heavy load?
Well, I just feel like she's really mature. She listens to her body. She had a huge offensive load and responsibility for Stanford indoors, but she's a special kind of athlete. I guess she had some injuries at the end of the season, needed to rest her body, but she's a special kind of athlete who can deal with that type of responsibility on her shoulders.
And Stanford Beach Volleyball building slowly as they're getting a little bit better every year. Taking a look at a little bit of their history. First season in 2013, played 8 matches. They're challenging themselves every year, and last year successful by all marks.
Oh, absolutely, 11-4, and that was primarily playing Northern California teams. This year, they're going to be tested a little bit more with some Southern California schools on their schedule.
Well, as they talk about building slowly, both Cal and Stanford, the athletes, the influx is also building slowly because high school athletes now are seeing this as an option, and they're deciding earlier and earlier to train just beach only.
The growth at the grassroots level of beach volleyball is like nothing I've ever seen. You go to any youth tournament any day of the summer and you will see hundreds and hundreds of kids playing beach volleyball, and they might not primarily be all beach. They might play indoor and beach, but the growth of the sport is incredible. And this growth, this influx of young players playing beach volleyball are going to start to fill these spots at all these schools.
Big point by Cole going to the line. Meanwhile, on court number 3, Cal, Campbell, and Rodberg just dominating McKenna and Lutz.
Well, I had a feeling that Cal team, with all their beach experience, would respond in the second set because they've never seen a 6'8" player on the beach. So adjusting to the size and length of Moretta Lutz and finding a strategy to score points against that Stanford team is a challenge.
Meanwhile, Hudson just cranked one off the block and out. She served tough to kind of erase most of this deficit, now down by 2. Chang will have Hudson in front of her.
Little cut shot inside the block. We have not seen her going short line over the block. Peyton Chang needs to dig this ball if she can.
Mia Moreno. And there is the short line.
There's the line. That's a line shot off the block, not a drop shot. But Mia Moreno and Sarah Cole, great adjustments in the second set versus Stanford.
And so tied up at 1 set apiece as Cole and Moreno, Hudson and Chang will go to a third set. Let's join the action on the twos, the 2 court and the 2 pairs. Bryce Bark and Corey Lamette facing Catherine Raquel and Ivana Vanyak. Down the line off of Vanyak.
Corey Lamette, number 10, aggressive, attacking the retreating Ivana Vanyak. When someone drops off the net, they're usually not stopped and ready to play defense, so you want to hit at that player if they're still moving.
Sent long as
timing off a little for Catherine Raquel on that play from Stanford. Open net, just gets under that ball and long arms it out of bounds.
Bark serves down the line. Raquel tests the block, it's there.
Good play at the net by Ivana Vanyak. Catherine Raquel needs to poke that ball over the line. She's going right into the line block instead of going over her. This team really needs to side out. That needs to be their focus, according to Denise Corlett, the head coach. She said this team has just been inconsistent when it comes to siding out for Stanford.
Oh, a little tricky. Why not? Bryce Bark.
That's a veteran move right there. Ivana Vanyak was out of position as a blocker. She needs to be in front of the hitter, and then Catherine Raquel, the defender, can balance the other way. Bryce Bark for Cal takes advantage.
Bark with 12 kills in this match. She's a sophomore out of Palos Verdes, California. At the net, Vanyak goes up. Bark waiting for her. And then goes the other way. 2 overpasses. Vanyak stays on her feet and uses her hand.
Well, great dig by Catherine Raquel for Stanford to keep it alive. Little back bumps shot. Catherine Raquel not surprised this time. Ivana Vanyak puts it away on the cut shot.
Raquel serving for Stanford. Vanyak set right in the middle and put away.
Good conversion, starts with a tough serve, and that really helps make Stanford's defense go on a little scoring run, up 18-16 in the second set. Cal won the first.
Vanyak and Raquel trying to push it to a third set. Raquel, from her family from the Philippines originally. And Stanford students are so intelligent, so driven. Catherine Raquel helped create a nonprofit, Feed to Succeed, inspired by a family trip to her parents' home country. It helps elementary children get vitamins and proper nourishment.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really incredible what they do. And in terms of the newness of the sport, teams still being formed and staying together. And here's what it takes to put a new team together for this new NCAA championship sport.
So you must schedule 8 matches, 3 of them duels. So like you're seeing today, and then scholarships, you get up to 6. Players can play both beach and indoors. 2016 in Gulf Shores will be the first NCAA team championship.
Yeah, the first weekend of May. It'll be really exciting. Championships have been held. The ABCA and USC has won. Pepperdine has won. Long Beach State has won. It'll be really interesting to see. Florida State has a very strong team as well. We'll see if they're in the mix again.
Great jump serve by Catherine Raquel. She popped that one and it really dropped. 19-16 side change with Stanford in the lead.
Raquel Vanyak trying to push it to a third and deciding set. Little pokey, Vanyak handles it. Raquel setting her, coming over her shoulder a little. Bark on Vanyak, Vanyak little right over.
Stanford did a good job controlling the ball when Cal was scrapping on the other side. Corey Lamette running around, one of the fastest players for the Cal team, keeping it alive, but couldn't come up with that short shot by Vanyak.
Vanyak and Raquel set point. Turned down the line by Lamette. This is her 5th year playing Division I sports at Cal. 4-year starter and captain on the soccer team. And Rich Feller telling us when he got the call, he made a few calls and was told, take her.
She's a special type of athlete. She has not played volleyball since she played in high school. That was basically 4 years ago because she played soccer for 4 years at Cal, but she's made the transition to beach volleyball and is playing at the number 2 spot for Cal. That's impressive.
Raquel puts it away, and the 2s will go to a third and deciding set. Bark and Lamette took set 1. Vanyak and Raquel made the required adjustments. The action going to come down to the wire here in Stanford, California.
It earned their first NCAA team title since 1967.
Welcome back. Pac-12 beach volleyball, and Stanford and Cal split at 1 apiece in this duel. The 4 and 5 pair splitting. We're in third set action in the second flight of games, and we're going to return to the action on the ones court as Mia Moreno and Sarah Cole facing Haley Hudson and Peyton Chang are at center court. But the action is hot all across. 3 teams in action right now. We just watched the twos come back and split as well. Let's take a look at the action on the ones as Mia Moreno is serving Peyton Chang.
Well, it doesn't get more exciting than this, all tied up in all 3 courts going to a third and deciding set.
And maybe the most impressive thing, Holly, today is the adjustments that you've talked about these players making between set 1 and 2, stretching it to 3 sets. Teams really paying attention and making adjustments.
Well, we are seeing Stanford and Cal. These are very smart students who are figuring it out and how to make adjustments mid-match. And that's a sign of maturity, realizing what the other team's doing and adjusting.
Hudson served tough in the second set. Sends another to Cole. Cole challenges Hudson on the block.
Good play at the net. That time, Sarah Cole stays aggressive, gets the touch off the block for the kill.
Cole tries to serve the seam. Hudson passes. Little shot from Hudson.
Good little cutback shot. Nobody at the net. I still want to see the blocker go the other way and send Mia Moreno to the line, but that's an adjustment for next time, I guess.
Peyton Chang has been really impressive today. We knew that she came from playing a lot of beach volleyball in Newport Beach. She's a part of the indoor squad as well, but defensively, Holly, she's making some real moves. Nice settable ball, or hittable ball for Hudson.
Just the little things, the ball control, knowing where to be on the court, using the whole court offensively. Peyton Chang's doing that for Stanford. But this is all Haley Hudson. Scramble, dig, and then a little short shot for the Stanford point.
Chang continues to serve. 9-7 lead in a short third set. Down the line, turned 2 inches wide.
Just wide, big Stanford point. 10-7 up in this third and final set in a race to 15.
For Cole and Moreno, trailing by 3. Some small adjustments to be made, and these two teams looking forward to more action throughout the season, culminating in a Pac-12 tournament for the first time ever, the volleyball championship here on Pac-12 Network.
Well, I think it's going to be fun to see all the schools there competing for bragging rights in the Pac-12, because a lot of these schools haven't met. SC, UCLA, trying to play all the schools they can, but these Northern California schools have not played against most of them.
Including Oregon and Washington. Correct. That we've talked about as well. April 29th, we hope you'll join us here on Pac-12 Network for the Parish Championship, and then there'll be a team championship as well. That's different from what the NCAA is going to do nationally. They're going to do just a team championship, basically seeing how deep your program is.
Yeah, and that's the same thing the NCAA is doing. It's a team championship. All 5 pairs matter, and that's what we're going to see at Pac-12s, but we're also going to see who's the best pair in the Pac-12, the team of just 2, no matter what school you're a part of.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see the twins of UCLA facing the veterans, really, of Clays and Hughes of USC, or is somebody else going to come in and surprise everybody?
Well, the twins of Arizona doing a lot of good things. They just beat the Pepperdine ones, so I'm expecting a great tournament.
Chang, again, looking for the line. It goes long, and Cole and Moreno, the adjustments after the timeout, they're now back within 1.
On a little run, Cal is with Mia Moreno on the line.
Chang's little shot drops.
Mia Moreno needs to take that ball away from Peyton Chang. Make Peyton Chang hit something else for Stanford.
Megan Schmidt, head coach of this Cau Beach Volleyball program, really appreciates the support she gets from the director of volleyball, Rich Feller. They talk quite a bit, but Rich says, look, it's her program. Moreno went off Hudson, and then they answered back. Strong play by Cau.
Great play to keep it alive. After getting blocked, they didn't panic, played the ball up, and Mia Moreno got a second chance.
Chang up, puts the ball down, and when this one keeps going, we're going to take a peek over at court number 3. Split it 1 set apiece, while Holland McKenna and Moretta Lutz having success in set number 3, adding up another point. They get to 15 first, Holland, it'll be the third of the duel, second point for Stanford.
Came back and played so well in this second set, but Stanford back on top, commanding lead, 13-6.
Rodberg.
Olivia Rodberg staying aggressive with a 6'8" blocker in front of you. Not easy. Cal trying to gain some momentum, make some things happen on their side of the net.
Campbell and Rodberg going at McKenna and Lutz. Big deficit this set, only to 15. Lutz passes the first ball too tight to the net, and it is a Cal point.
Cal trying to make things happen. 8 serving 13.
McKenna receives the ball. Lutz puts up a very tough ball for McKenna. She does what she can, but the set was not at all a hittable ball.
Holland McKenna was on the left side. Now she's going back to the right side. That leaves the over on 2 option for Moretta Lutz, and Moretta Lutz trying to take more of the court.
Holland McKenna goes short, and it is match point for Lutz and McKenna of Stanford.
Cal needs to be aggressive. Big blocker in front of them. Starts with the pass.
Little. Heads up shot by Campbell.
Grace Campbell, lots of experience on the beach. She saw Moretta Lutz drop and drops a nice cut shot in there for the Cal point.
Coach Megan Schmidt saying Grace Campbell needs to own the idea that she's a big blocker. Pulls off the net here. And McKenna and Lutz get the second point for Stanford as they take set number 3. And so Stanford with a 2-1 lead in this duel. One more point for Stanford, and they will win the duel. Back to the action on court number 1. Third set for these two teams. On the run. Hudson's going to stay and block. Sarah Cole goes a little bit short. Too short for the cutting, and it's tied up at 13 apiece.
Wow, Sarah Cole, great idea. Just missed on the execution. 13 all. All the players on this court look tired.
Hudson serving. Cole pulling off. Hudson takes a big chop, but it goes off the tape. And it will turn out to the beach player, Mia Moreno, for the corner.
And what Megan Schmidt likes to say about Mia Moreno, she is fearless. That was an ideal set to go up and be aggressive and hit, but Mia Moreno wanted it and went after it.
Cole and Moreno serving to tie up this duel at 2 apiece. Ball is long, and Mia Moreno and Sarah Cole take the third and deciding set. Holly, this is why it's a team sport. We're tied back up at 2 apiece. All the pressure, all the attention goes to the twos.
This is as good as it gets.
And so at 2 apiece, we're going now returning to Bryce Bark and Corey Lamette and Catherine Raquel and Ivana Vanyak as they duke it out to see who wins the duel.
Stanford down 6, serving 8 in this third set. Again, race to 15.
Raquel goes across Vanyak, little shot. Or excuse me, here's Vanyak, little shot off.
With the side change, 7 versus 8. Vanyak with a nice little drop shot in the Stanford kill.
The soccer player turned beach volleyball captain Corey Lamette, number 10 in blue, teamed with Bryce Bark out of Palos Verdes Estates. 12-4 on the season, team of 2 bigs, facing Catherine Raquel and Ivana Vanyak. Little shot, Lamette handles it. Has to come inside. Raquel waiting for it. She's looking, and she crushes.
Important to be aggressive. When you get easy dig opportunities, be aggressive. Not a little short roll shot in front of the defense.
Raquel has been aggressive with 15 kills in this match. And an ace serve. Her 6th of the match.
That time Bryce Bark for Cal tried to be aggressive, help pass in the middle, and that ball drops for Stanford.
And Holly, it's exciting to see these 2 teams growing it together, really. I mean, to have it be a closely contested duel between these teams as we take a look at the action. The 1's a very strong team, but the 5's also playing very well.
Yeah, I was most impressed with 1, 2, and 3 all going to 3 sets, and I believe it was the 5's that went 3 sets as well. So very even, both teams developing, but both teams responding to the other team. If somebody makes a strategy change, so does the other team. So it's been nice to see the maturity of some of these new beach volleyball players.
Yeah, beach volleyball is a team sport, and here's the match summary as you take a look at it. As Bowen and DeSanto of Stanford swept the first set. That's the only first match. That's the only sweep we've seen. Bowen was just too big at the block. Everything else going to 3 sets.
I'm happy with the high level that we're seeing, and I think all the teams moving in the right direction, just getting better and better on the sand.
Raquel back to serve for Stanford. Lamette and Bark, a team of 2 bigs. We've seen often a big and a little, if you will, playing. Makes it a little harder to know who you want to go after. Little shot falls short.
The one thing about if you've been serving Corey Lamette the whole match and then you go to Bryce Bark, Bryce Bark's not in a side-out rhythm. You really want to be in a rhythm if you're passing and hitting. Then you kind of feel the game and feel where your offense is better.
No blocker on. Lamette dug by Raquel. Bryce Bark, little at the line. Is it good? Let's take a look at the ball mark.
There's a down referee watching.
Ooh.
And he says that ball hit the line. But the interesting part about that rally, Ivana Vanyak was the blocker. She retreated, in my opinion, the wrong way. You want her to retreat into the short part of the court.
And again, that may be a knowledge issue. Or as
there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
An indoor player for Stanford playing on the beach. Raquel, a variety of shots. Block is up against Vanyak. She cuts it sharp.
Ivana Vanyak became a middle blocker on the indoor team for Stanford this past year did a fantastic job. Shows she can put it away too. We've seen Catherine Raquel taking most of the balls for Stanford, but that time Vonyak gets a shot.
Yeah, Vonyak pursued John Dunning hard for that indoor position. She and her sister wrote to him. She's originally from Germany. There's something to be said about voting for yourself, and now she's playing 2 different sports. Bryce Bark not having it.
Bryce Bark staying aggressive. This Cal team knows what's on the line.
Little shot is dug, looking to push back. Vonyak touches it. Cal point.
Catherine Raquel digging lots of balls, needs to be more aggressive, putting that ball away. The short ball's an easy ball to transition. That time Vonyak didn't know if the ball was in or out. Little tentative, hits her arm.
This match could not be closer. Down to the final pair, down to the 3rd set, and tied up. Looking down the line, Vonyak pulls, digs. Lamette. Short. And it's Raquel.
Corey Lamette, that time you saw her cheat and run to the line, leaving the angle open. Catherine Raquel will take that.
Yeah, Raquel, one of the beach-only players for Stanford, looking like a beach-only player. Great shots. Lamette, the soccer star, now a beach volleyball star as well.
Corey Lamette finding the deep middle under pressure from Cal, 12-12.
She was studying abroad in Florence her spring semester, called Rich Feller. He connected her with Megan Schmidt, the head coach, and she is now on the 2s. And another point as Bark and Lamette pull ahead.
13-12 on the side change. That ball drops short cross court. Impressive serve. Stanford with the, Cal with the slight advantage, 13, serving 12.
Lamette serving. Raquel crushes it.
Catherine Raquel, the block was lined up to stop her line. She snaps it, hard angle.
Lamette is funneled right into Raquel. Vonyak again blocking line.
Corey Lamette digs the ball, just unable to transition it. Set, duel, match point.
Absolutely. Stanford's Raquel and Vonyak for the match and the duel. Vonyak pulls off. Raquel digs it. Most experienced beach player is going to get the opportunity. She sends it long, and we're going extra points.
Catherine Raquel trying to go deep middle. 14-all. Cal has another chance.
For the high line, can't get any prettier than that.
That's a great line shot, especially after she's established her power across court. Can she put pressure on them from the service line?
In play for the match and the duel for Stanford. Over the shoulder, Bryce Bark's gonna keep it in play. Vonyak. Lamette laid out, but it's tight. Vonyak up high, and Lamette finds the back line.
Wow. Corey Lamette with a fantastic dig to save the match. All tied up, 15-all. Another line shot. Drops. The winner of this match wins the duel. Stanford and Cal split their 1s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. This is the 2 pairs, and they are in their 3rd set. Extra points. Raquel, exclamation point, and it is again dual point for Stanford. I believe it's Ivana Vanyak serve. Catherine Raquel, she just served the last ball for Stanford.
That just embedded in you?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to keep track of these kind of things.
Yeah, you do it better than anybody. 3 Olympic Games. I get it. Vanyak and Raquel for the match. Down the middle, Raquel digs. Blockers retreating. Little shot. Raquel chases it down, but on the run.
Catherine Raquel, in my mind, on that first attempt that she's going short cross court, she needs to hit it. Tries to run this one down, makes a good attempt. The Cal's alive again, 16 all.
Bryce Bark serving. Raquel's cutting too short, and now it is Cal. Match and dual point.
Stanford takes the timeout.
Whew. Timeout you need at this point. And Holly, before we get to strategy, what does it say about these programs to have this kind of competitiveness?
Well, I love it. I think that's what this sport is all about. And you see the team aspect, every team huddled around this court watching, and it comes down to you need all your players competing and winning in order to be successful as a team.
If you're Bark and Lamette, who do you serve?
Well, they've been scoring off Catherine Raquel. It wouldn't be bad to throw one at Ivana Vanyak. Ivana Vanyak's a great hitter, but she doesn't get her feet to the ball and ends up making little shots that are diggable. So it just depends what Cal feels comfortably in terms of defense.
One more point by Cal, and the California Golden Bears will take this duel from Stanford. This is why it's a team sport. It comes down to the 2s. They serve Raquel. Blockers up. And a big dig from Lamette. Raquel on the chase. Vanyak gonna have to keep her head about her. Bryce Bark crushes it, and Cal takes the match and the duel. The Golden Bears celebrate.
What a come-from-behind victory from Cal. And what I said earlier about the blocker always needs to get in front of the hitter. Bryce Bark had a straight down swing to end the match for Cal.
Cal's Bryce Bark never saw a serve all last year. Partnered with Lamette, the 2 of them have split the action. And so the Cal Golden Bears take the duel over the Stanford Cardinal, and we're so glad you joined us for beach volleyball here on Pac-12 Network. Please join us again next week for Long Beach State and UCLA. For our director, Tim Lay, our producer, Billy Chusid, my partner, Holly McPeak, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson saying beach volleyball on the rise in Northern California. So long from the campus of Stanford University.